It's time for an episode of Triple Crit, except this isn't actually Triple Crit because this is our after show, Tidbits, where we talk about the bits in Triple Crit.
Hello, and welcome to Triple Crit Tidbits. This is the after show after we play the D&D show where we play D&D. We talk about that episode that we just played live after we've played it.
Not live for you guys, live for us.
Yeah.
Live for us.
No,
Not
this
live.
is
Yes.
scripted. It's the worst script in the world. It's all
Yeah.
scripted.
There's so many
It's all
and
scripted.
so many blank spaces that you can't hear because we edited them out.
We
Dellan-
said fuck the planet and asked to ChatGPT to write us a
can't.
bad D&D
No.
podcast script with
Can't.
lots of
Even
ums
just
and
So many
uhs.
and ums and ugh. A lot of
Uggs.
ellipses, which is apparently a thing that they do, or M dashes or whatever the fuck those things are. I don't know. Apparently that's a thing that ChatGPT does a lot.
Anything I've learned about ChatGPT has been against my will.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's how I feel about Zach Braff.
Whoa.
Interesting.
Deep pull? I don't know.
Interesting.
Anyway.
I don't know. Dylan, that was crazy.
Hey, that was nuts. Hey,
That was crazy.
I feel like I'm sweaty and covered in dust, kind of like Daiya, even though I literally cleaned my room like 2 days ago.
I'm glad that the session ended there simply because I have created a character that does not like to talk about her feelings. And you super 1-2 punched like multiple things that she is going to be forced to like reckon with. Like both
Yeah.
the fact that her not ex, we found her. But also the
Mhm.
fact that you gave her the sun back when she has been looking for it for over 100 years.
Fucking nuts.
You did both of those things in one singular, like 5-minute period.
Mhm.
So I'm really glad you
Yeah.
put me on ice because I think I would have exploded.
It's crazy because while I was writing in preparation for this session, I was writing about Blossom. And I was like, why is she here?
Yeah.
Who is Celine to her? Old girlfriend? Relative? ? And then she pops up and I'm like, I get my answers next session. Maybe.
You're not going to get your answers.
I'm
the moment
gonna
you see
do
their
it.
dynamic, the moment you see their dynamic, it's going to be even more unclear.
No.
What are they to each other? I don't know.
True.
Are they lovers? Worse.
Are they?
Are they lovers worse?
Yeah,
Is
I did not
crazy.
make that. I found that somewhere through the
Probably
internet,
on fucking Tumblr
seeping
somewhere.
into my consciousness somewhere. My very
No,
first.
I,
oh yeah, you go, Dellan. You talk about your shit.
No, I was just gonna say that like I've had the luxury of this not being my first time playing for content, like for trying to create something that is both entertaining and fun for the three of us, but also entertaining and fun for a listener. And one of the things that I found the first time I did this was like, oh, the fun that I thought it was to uncover a mystery or like take a really long time to give the characters what they want is not as interesting as giving them what they want with new bits and other things that they weren't
Ugh.
expecting.
New tidbits?
New tidbits. So it's like, okay, you guys want to find these people? You'll find them.
Oh God.
Not maybe how you're expecting to
Covered
find
in
them.
a bunch of stone that I was truly worried that I was going to have to hack off of my relative, which I would not enjoy.
You want the sunlight? You get it coming out of a guy's eyes and mouth.
And this is the thing, Dellan, is I have no attachment to this dude. So the moment you just did that whole monologue about the sun coming out of his eyes, I was like, sick. Gotta get this dude's eyes.
No!
I was
Oh,
like, gotta get these
no.
dude's eyes. I
That's
was like,
gnarly.
PvP
I was
in
honestly-
session 5? That's crazy.
I was a bit more interested in this dude than Celine at the moment because I think that, again, there's a bunch of shit wrapped up with Celine, but again, the sun has
Yeah.
been like what's been keeping Blossom
That's your
going
thing.
for 100 years. It is like to the point of where it's like if you have spent 100 years searching for it, it's like how much of it is a true want, and then how much of it is just like obsession or romanticization at that point. Like, so it's almost a little bit of like a fuck. Is this just going to fix everything if I could just take it and possess it and have it? And it's in you. The secret is in you, under your skin somewhere. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Well, and then like I don't know if I did a good enough job conveying this, but this was the intention, is that when he passes out and the thumping stops, that the light
Yeah,
stops.
no, but it was there.
No, you did, but it was there.
So like it was there.
It's not there anymore,
now,
but it was there, and I gotta know.
It
I
was
gotta
there.
know why.
That thumping sound.
I
And
gotta
I
take
gotta
his
maybe
eyes.
take his
Genuinely
eyes.
upsetting
and
to
they're still
me.
there. If I take his eyes out of his head and spin
Thank
them
you.
around with the little gold dots be on the back of the eyeball, and I can get in that way, you know?
I genuinely forgot.
It's one of my small special talents.
You have so many.
That was crazy. Was that your real actual throat?
Yeah.
Making that sound. Was that your gullet?
Horrifying.
It is my gullet.
God
making
damn
that
it.
noise.
Horrifying.
Oh,
I also forgot that the
was
Doppler
so
effect could be
loud.
scary. I love the Doppler effect.
Yeah.
It is truly one of my favorite things because it makes me laugh every time. Hey, that's the first time it's never not made me laugh and actually made me chilled to my bones.
The reason I used it, fun fact, when I was writing that description where I was like, okay, I know I want them walking down and seeing these lights. And I was like, I know I want the kind of disparate voices to be coming from them, but I don't want it to just be like eerie, scary for eerie, scary. So I want it to feel like each one is different. I was like, what the fuck do I do? And then there is a guy that I work with who's wonderful. He's a sound designer. And he, in his email signature, says, instead of like best or whatever, it's currently using the Doppler effect.
Ugh.
That's really
And
funny.
I love that. Because he's always running around campus and he's talking to people and he works with sound. Like, it just is such a brilliant way to make like office culture fun as like an email signature. And I saw it. He sent me an email like during this week and I was like, oh, I'm going to use
That's
that.
so funny. Because I feel like I've talked to you guys about how, like, it is my favorite thing. So the fact that you weaponized it against me for a different reason hurts me.
Sorry.
I
sorry.
feel like
I
you're
had to.
not. I honestly
I
feel
just
like you're
had
not
to.
sorry at all.
I'm not.
It
I'm
doesn't
not.
sound like
if
a
I
sorry
can,
man.
if I can get you guys to be scared or worried,
I'm
I've
always
done my
worried.
job.
But that's the thing. I'm like the Hulk in that way. I am always worried.
That's my secret, Cap.
I'm
I'm
always
always worried.
Dude, also when you gave Blossom the sun after she died, she immediately, and then you
Oh.
brought her back, she was like, fuck, I guess I gotta kill myself again.
And then
I gotta
Daiya is like,
gotta
I didn't know
microdose.
that was happening. So I was like, my friend's
I got
dead.
a microdose. You didn't,
Yeah.
I got to microdose death a little bit more, I think, maybe, just to see.
Well, that's like, I really try and, like, we had that big moment with the pinprick, end of episode
Yes.
1. And I was like, I know it's gotta come back, right? Like at that, we're gonna pay that off, and I know what that is and how I want to do it. But it also is one of those things where it's like, I don't want to shoehorn it in a role play scenario. So I don't want you guys to just like be in that house after your fight with the Wyatts and have you and be like, and now you close your eyes to drift off to sleep and you see the sun, like it's just, it doesn't need to be that. But combat and death saves is like narrative
That's so
heaven.
cool.
Yeah.
It is because it's a way to go like, here's a little something, and it either gives great psyche into the character as to what they really want. Because like Blossom could have been like, I run straight into combat. I run straight at one of these electric guys. I don't fucking care. Like, and that gives us beautiful insight into like, oh, Blossom's really, oh, that's how important this is. But it also can allow for Blossom's mystery and desire. It can allow for a character's desire and mystery to be rewarded and honored and hinted at without answering it yet. And that I really love. Like, I love to be able to be like, don't worry, I am thinking
good
of
shit,
this.
dude.
The thing that you want is important, and it's on my mind. Yeah.
It's good shit. Because I recently, in another home game I'm playing, I'm DMing right now, and I'm so new to DMing. And honestly, sometimes playing with you is a bit of a masterclass because I'm like, oh shit. Especially I was so excited to watch how you did combat because it stayed so interesting the entire time with there being just like multiple goals. Usually combat's the thing that I'm the most bored during, but this was great.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
when combat like that is like
Thank you.
cut up into two different things so that there are like multiple goals for multiple people playing. That's like one of my favorite things, and you did a really good job on it. And also, I have to cut down your ego a little bit.
Thank you.
You're a butthead, and yeah, take that. You're a butthead.
Shit,
And you're like,
you're right.
No, Emiko, no, I just spent so long building him up.
No, I
It's like
am
a house of
allowed.
cards.
As best friends do, I am allowed to.
My ego is like a good game of Jenga.
I was like, where are you
It's a
going?
whole
with
lot of
this?
building up, but eventually it's got to come down.
Listen, he's just
Yeah,
a
you
little
did.
I
white
got
man
there.
living
You
in
did.
Florida. If you destroy his self-confidence, whatever will he have left?
Republicans.
I'll
He'll
never
never
survive
survive.
as a white man in Florida.
No.
No.
He's not going to have the mental
no.
fortitude to
No,
run from
I-
alligators.
Those egrets
It's
are really
true.
going to come for you.
Jesus Christ. Those egrets
The
are going to
egrets.
come.
I love a bird.
The egrets.
I love a bird.
Uh,
I know you
bird.
do. You're in that bird watching
I
these days.
don't know much about birds.
The last on my bird watching app. The last
On
I
your
think
bird watching app.
I have a bird watching app. I think the last bird that I did was like some kind of a crow, but it's like a specific kind of crow, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But they were above my house, and I was on the roof.
It's crazy
and I
that
was
you
like-
have birds that you do. You're like, I do birds.
Yeah, my father would be very proud of me, honestly.
I think so.
When I was in Florida last, I took a bunch of pictures of a bunch of birds, and I was just like, these birds are cool, because there's a lot of birds.
There's a lot of birds.
I wish I had the bird watching app when I was in Florida,
There's a
but I
lot of
didn't.
birds. I was gonna say just to not like not that
To not talk about birds?
not to shrug off the very kind compliments that you gave me about running combat, but truly a lot of that is stuff that I have learned from and just experienced from listening to NADPod and specifically Brian Murph as a DM, because they do combat so much. And he is always talking about how to make it interesting. And he often cites his players as being like, they talk during combat. They razz my enemies. They have narrative moments. Like, they keep it interesting. But I do remember there was a time, I can't remember exactly what combat he talked about, but he was like, it was really important to me that the goal of the combat was not to kill everything. It was to do this thing, to like complete this other objective. But that the combat and initiative as a D&D mechanic is simply used to determine order, less so to be like, and now we're in a fight. It's like, well, we are in a fight, yes, but really we're in a race against time.
Oh, that's good.
We're trying
Yeah.
to repair these things, and to do so fairly and justly, having the order already laid out works, right? So it's one of those things where, like, in this, it was really scary to have the unanchored go first. Like, I was scared at the start. I was like, oh shit. Because if they do bad, big damage first round, it's going to be a game of catch up, and they won't be able to focus on the relays. Like, there was a moment where I was like, oh, maybe I didn't balance this right because of that. But then I knew I had the bonus actions to give you guys. I knew you had Brock, and I knew that the two of you would be really creative. And I had hoped that that Daiya would get to use her skill set in this specific instance, because that's why they were able to convince Thanik to come with them. Because Thanik was like, I'm not going if I'm your only mechanic. And Daiya was like, I can do it. So I was like, I need to give that payoff.
I was really glad that she had like a moment to be able to like do her little artificer thing, because I truly did forget that like that was a thing that she could do for like a little bit, even though that's like a really intrinsic part of like who she is. But like when you're doing a bunch of other stuff, you're kind of like forgetting like oh yeah, I can do this stuff. And so it felt really good to be able to like utilize like her knowledge and like be able to like shove a bunch of shit together and like create a thing, which is just really lovely and wonderful.
And there was an awesome moment, which is probably one of my sunrises of the whole session, where you used your fighter action surge to go fix more relays.
Yeah.
Was like really a fun, like that is why you multi-class. Like, I'm doing this thing that this other class gives me, but to keep doing this thing with the other class. Rather than like, I'm going to action surge so I can go slice up one of these electricity monsters. It's like, no, I'm going to action surge to keep
was freaking out that I kept rolling like so low, because I knew how important the relays were. And Daiya, I think, was also equally freaking out because she's just like, I think what's interesting about this combat in particular is that like, I think there are really like three things that were happening, which is like the electricity scary monsters that I named the untethered, except they were the fuck were unanchored. That's the same word to me. You just add like another 2 more lines on the T and then it's an A, right? I don't know. Anyway, shut up.
No, that
so
logic.
It's like the electricity monsters, the relays, and also the dusk, because we're all like, you're in that space of like, yeah, this immediate enemy is right here, but also there's a bunch of other shit back there that we don't know about. So if we don't fix the relays, other crap could come out of there and equally beat our ass, which is also very scary. So it's nice it felt really good to have like stakes and consequences for like rolling low. Even though I will say, so glad that rolling badly every time didn't fully break a relay. I was truly so fucking scared that I was just gonna like stick my hand in there and like it was gonna die and I was gonna be like, ah.
And like natty 1.
There was thankfully no way to break a relay.
Thank God.
Mainly because I was like, it narratively it needs to happen somehow, or if it doesn't happen, it doesn't need to be like, you've fucked up.
We already broke one machine.
Like,
yeah, and especially because it's like they're already broken and you're fixing them. You're an artificer, so it's like you're theoretically, if you break it further, you're just gonna keep fixing it.
I could just keep fixing it. I put wires together.
There was if you had 2 fails, it would shock you. So you take damage. So there was consequence to it, but it was one of those things where like eventually you guys either have to give up on the relays and kill all the things. And then if you did that, I would take you out of initiative and be like, you can do some research and fix it.
I love that Blossom not even once attempted to fix a single relay.
No.
She was like, the kids got it, whatever.
That first Thunder Wave, though, did well. I had made these kind of creatures, and I was like, normally I would have given them a lightning resistance, but I really was like, there was something that felt wrong about it to me. And I don't know why. I think it was that their spirits were like taken over by the lightning. I was like, it feels poetic for these lightning creatures to be hurt by the very thing that they are, because they have done something bad to these Air Genasi spirits. Or whatever.
And I knew it was kind of going to be a gamble. But I was like, this is like the best area of effect spell I have at this level right now, and it's also one that pushes them back at least. And I was like, it was a little bit of like a gamble. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that it worked. I did have another.
It did. You did a hefty amount of damage. They had 32 hit points each.
I know
That's
they were.
it?
I know.
Fun
So
fact.
that at least that first
Damn.
hit did get them. Yeah.
It took him down to 18, 25, and 18.
Yeah, which was much more
like that first
manageable.
attack. I was like, oh shit.
I know, but
Yeah.
I did have a plan because I didn't know how easy it would also be to make everyone see them. Because I didn't know it was going to be
Yeah.
those wisdom checks. So I did also have a plan. Because Blossom has elementalism. She's a druid rogue.
Ooh.
So I was gonna get some dust all over them to see
Ooh,
if I
fun.
could make them visible.
Cool.
But then it didn't end up. But then
That's
everyone ended
cool.
up able to see them within a round, and I went, okay, I'd rather save my shit for doing damage.
Yeah, I like that it was kind of like a, not to bring up
They had a
The-
backup.
the forbidden series, but like in Harry Potter when you watch someone die, like you can see those like weird bony horse things. It's like when you get hit by something,
Mhm.
then they're visible, which I really
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
like that.
I knew that was going to be the case. And then I was also like, I feel like, you know, if someone warns me that something's there in a magic world where I'm fighting monsters, I feel like I would pick up,
Yeah.
like it would come into
Yeah.
view.
Yeah,
would
and
pick
you're
up
like
something.
So I
seeing
was like-
people hitting things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then I was
Context
like, but
clues.
maybe you don't want to see the thing that's right in front of you. So I'll let the wisdom save be that determined. So you can choose to fail, but it's scary as
Yeah.
shit when you realize that this thing's right there. Or you can save and try and remain unaware of it.
I think I really liked that also because like from where Daiya was standing when she did get frightened, there wasn't a good place for her to run away to because in any direction if she ran,
No.
she would have like seen one or like one would have been in her way. So it actually worked really well like narratively and for like her advantage because she just backed up into the box and was able to like fix
Yeah.
the shit. So topic shift a little bit. I have a huge question. What
Yeah.
mechanically happened to Brock?
So cool. That was
So-
fun too.
Because I was
Yeah.
we were
Yeah,
both
yeah.
just so stressed out of like, where did our baby go? I kind of thought that he might be
I
in the
thought he
ground,
was
but I was
okay.
also
I know.
I
like,
thought that he was. This is what I thought. I decided that he
Mhm.
he was like a dead iPhone, and he was in sleep mode, and he was just recharging, or like how like a turtle goes into its shell. I thought maybe he did like a defensive mode, but
I
I
fully
never
thought about-
thought he was hurt.
Yeah.
yeah, I fully thought like of what happened. Like I thought that he was just like, he's somewhere in the ground because that's where
Yeah.
he can be safe for right now.
Yeah. So mechanically, this is a big part of my homebrewed Genasi, which I've really tried to kind of throw in here early games so that because it's like one of the only things in D&D that I change pretty drastically from what it is to something very different. So I try and establish it early. But I like Genasi as like a marrying between a spirit and a nature element. And so for it to be a true marriage, it's got to be equal. And I think both parties agree to be in this symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, like a
Um,
righteous gemstone. That's not the right TV show. What is the TV show I'm thinking? Steven Universe. What are those called?
Yes. The what are they
The
called?
crystal
They are the
gems.
gemstone something.
We
Crystal
always
gems.
swim today,
Yeah, you do.
and
Yeah,
if
you
you
got it.
think we can't,
I was thinking of the TV show with Walton
Always
Goggins.
they-
I like that.
So
shit.
yeah, I was gonna say baby
Wrong
Billy.
way.
Uncle Bubbles
Um,
Bubble Bunkers.
So Steven, even though when Brock is not inside of Steven and operating him, I do think that Steven has some kind of grander consciousness. This is getting very like woo-woo, but like
Philosophical.
I believe that the earth and the elements and all of those things do speak to us in some way, shape, and form. I believe that nature tells us things. And so I like to think that Steven and Brock were like partners. And Brock is such a young Genasi that maybe Genasis don't settle officially until they've matured.
Oh.
That the world and nature is willing to give them shots in different areas
like
to see what
golden
works
compass
for them.
kind of style.
Yeah.
That's so cool because
and
that's
so I
that's
just
like
took
really
it-
like growing up where you just like try on a bunch of different hats until like whatever one sticks.
Oh my God. Yeah. And just like different, like Brock, I think for, whatever reasons that we may or may not discover or find out, like until he was 8, he needed to be Steven.
Oh.
He needed to be strong and tough and
growing
defensible
up in
and
the dusk, I think will maybe do that to you a little bit.
Oh,
yeah, and his dad
my brain
like clearly works in a
really went to like dad, and I was like, it's upsetting? Question mark? I don't know. Like,
well, more so like I think dad has always done the tough work for Willa type vibe. So like tough environment.
Yeah.
And so I liked that. But then in this moment, there was such an opportunity for like Blossom went down, the relays needed fixing. Like you were mentioning, Emiko, like the combat had 3 levels to it that I think Brock, even though he's 8, like I think he's aware of. And I think there's kind of just like an intrinsic, like he did go into there is a little like mechanical recharge mode for him in that state to gain some hit points back. And he's out for 2 rounds. And it's like a reworking for the stone Genasi that of a potion. There's a potion that lets you like you drink it and you go unconscious for 2 rounds and then you pop up with the full effects of a long rest. So it's like
cool.
Whoa.
People can attack you while you're down. So it's a risk that you run, but it's a high payoff.
For sure.
If you need it. And so I kind of reworked it to be like he gains like half his hit points back plus, gets a full attack or whatever. And so I took it. And so he was doing that. And then there was one relay that had yet to get charged and used. And I was like, maybe it's a moment of transition for him. And maybe Brock we get to kind of, because I'm sorry I'm rambling
No, this
so
is
much,
so
but this
cool.
is what
Great.
my brain is thinking.
I'm really
of.
loving to get this pull behind the curtain moment.
And I asked.
Yeah, so like when I've been teaching an improv 101 class and we've been talking about the tilt of every scene. And it's why is this scene important? Why is it happening today? Why do we care about this moment with these characters on this day? And why is it different from any other day? And I've started to treat NPCs that way. That NPCs, we should experience a change in them during their time with us. Because if not, then why are they there?
Yeah.
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 Right?
Man.
Other than support, right? Like Thanic and Silvers and like they can be mechanical support and then they can fuck off until the next time we need them for a narrative reason and then we can pull them in. But like Brock, I'm like, no, he's with us. So we've got to grow with him too and see a change in him. And so I was like, maybe that's now. Maybe Brock is going to, what happens when we find Kel and we find Celine and we bring them back. First off, what does that do? And 2, that means in theory, Brock comes back with us. And what is the reaction to Brock coming back in such a different way? Right. And what does that, do? So that was kind of where my thought was like, let's have a moment that feels rewarding for an NPC that's going to be with us for a large part of our journey, but isn't going to take all the narrative time away from the people we really super care about are PCs. So that was what my brain
Speak for
was
yourself.
thinking.
That's
Brock is
good
my
shit,
child.
dude. It's good shit.
Yeah. I love Brock. Brock's really sweet.
He's
and
my baby boy, and I love him.
I think I could pull some shit. I love to make someone really young and then have them like grow exponentially for no reason at some point. Like,
He's
and then
suddenly 12,
and then
you're like,
Brock's
ugh.
20 and you guys are like,
Uh-huh.
what? Yeah.
That's
Walk.
that's really
We'll
good.
see,
I'm glad
but-
that Daiya made the choice to like send him down the road, because like
Yeah.
I really just wanted to like talk to Blossom for a second, like one-on-one.
No, it worked out really
so well, and I'm so glad that there was something like tangible down that road instead of just like
I know,
just
because I was
sending
like, we
him
gotta
and-
go back to the town.
this is such a
When you sent him, I was like, okay, I know it's at the end of that road.
Well, I'm really glad that we did that and we didn't just like turn back and wait
Yeah,
another
'cause
day or a
I
couple more
was
hours.
gonna be like, and then I,
Yeah.
drank a healing potion, and then
yeah.
I got one single hit point back.
Oh, that's the worst.
But no,
I'm so
listen,
sorry.
I'm happy that I managed to switch our potions.
Oh, that was a moment. That was a moment for me. I was like, oh man, okay.
And now I have the luminosity potion and you have the real healing potion.
Yeah, but Daiya doesn't know that because I literally, when I was writing as Daiya, like I had Daiya write a letter to her dad, like before we started the session, and I talked about the potion in the letter. Like I literally wrote, hold on. Okay, so I wrote, okay, so it's like there's like a whole thing, and then this part says for your eyes only. And it says, luckily we found some kind of dusk repellent potion made from luminosity, so that makes me feel loads better about our chances. Have you heard of them? And I said, I'm not sure why everyone
That's
doesn't
so
use
fun.
it. Because she doesn't know
Well.
whether or not
Yeah.
it's useful. She thinks that it probably is. She's like, well, this must be like a thing that people use in the dusk.
And you know what? It's just, it does help. It's just not all powerful.
Sure.
Like use at your own
Yeah.
risk. Like nothing's 100% effective. If it doesn't work on you, you must be in the like 5%.
That's on you.
Yeah. Wow. I'm really glad that so many of my questions were answered. And also now I have more questions and I love that.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I was really excited. It's been something that I knew from the minute I gave you guys the contracts, session 1, that like we were looking for them. I was like, I cannot and I do not want to keep them from finding them until after the first arc. Like my thought was like, they need to find them in the first arc. That is fun and that is interesting and that is like you can build to a place in your D&D campaign where you can go really long stretches without answering the mysteries. Once you've gained the knowledge of the world and the people but like for right now, keeping those things that keep the two of you and the two of your characters like personally motivated
And just
do
together,
Yeah.
united in common
Yeah.
cause. Like,
it's been really fun and it all like clicked. I had like bits and pieces of every session we've played so far. I had figured out from the minute I created the concept for the world. I was like, oh, and then I think it'll be people that the two players care about that'll be kind of affected by what's happening, and I know that, and I know I want them to go to the northern side of the town, and like I knew these things, but when I locked in, I've talked about it in another tidbit, but when I locked in on what is up with the Sunstones, I was like, and all of it click, click, click. Like it was.
I
magic.
don't have
It was really
theories
exciting.
anymore. I last
You
Really?
had
well,
theories?
last week
That's
I had
so nice. I had none.
but last week I talked about my theories. And
Oh,
this
that's
week
true.
Yeah.
I in light of all this new information, I am like I don't know. I'm like, the sun is coming back. The sun fell. The sun is sentient. The
sun was
is
taken.
memory.
Mm.
The sun is, I don't know. The sun is infecting people.
Something. I'm so interested to know about the
The
patterns.
sun has a ghost, and the ghost of the sun is getting into people, and so you can only see it when you die or when you're close to death.
The
because
sun
it's
has a
the
sun,
ghost.
and this whole thing is a Christian allegory.
No, I liked mine better. Maybe. What if we go with?
Yeah, this is
What if we go with my?
this is my
theory?
long con way of telling you guys that I'm really
You're
diehard.
so
Of the three of
religious.
us, of the three of us, who is the Father, who is the Son, and who's the Holy Ghost?
Well, I've always said
I mean, I think I'm the
I
father.
was just gonna say I was the daddy because I feel like I always talk about being a father. I could also be the son, if you really want to be the father.
No, I think Katie's the son. I think Katie's the son. I think Emiko's the father.
And you're the
I'm
Holy
You
Spirit.
think I'm the? You think I'm the little boy? You think I'm him?
I do.
The boy,
The
I
boy.
do. I do
the
think you're
little
him.
boy?
You are him, the boy.
the little boy with his
Yeah.
his boy band of 12 and his carpentry skills.
And his definitely not
also,
gay
the
lover
him.
Judas.
No,
Super
him.
not gay.
Him, the boy, is feels like a great drag name or like rapper name.
Him, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, him the boy. That's so funny.
Like, it's such a great. Yeah, I don't want that.
And
that
listen,
charms me.
it just comes to me.
There were so many
Yeah.
times. This is so stupid. There are so many times in this episode my ADHD was just off the fucking rails. But I really had to like tamp it down because you kept saying like box and like stuff, and I literally wanted to be like box, but I had to not do that to make like a stupid
Box
sex
is
joke
Oh my
box is
God.
an exciting word.
because it would have fucking just like ruined the the pacing. But
Yeah.
I literally
Well,
in
that's
my head was
it's-
just making the jokes to myself, and I was like hee like.
The super cool thing about podcasts, and I've always said this, the cool thing about podcasts,
And
You
you've
have
always
said
said
this.
this.
is that, Emiko, don't worry. Dellan has the power to cut out anything we say at any time. I assume that you listeners are only
It's
getting
true.
about half of my personality and dialogue.
Yeah, that's true. Katie says a lot
because
of
Dell
slurs
is-
that we have
Maybe
to take
I'm
out.
just uploading straight
Yeah,
raw
for
audio.
sure. My favorite one's poopy.
Just
And they have to cut out how many times I say that.
Yeah, true.
what, booby?
I said poopy, but booby's another good one. Hey, listen. Common mistake.
Either or. Do we have to talk
It is a
about
common mistake.
shit and or piss during every tidbit? Because I feel like we have done that.
Well, you're certainly not going to do it, so I'm going
I'm
to
not
make up
gonna.
the lack.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm usually going to, but
I want to talk
until,
about the
I guess,
patterns
now, but-
in the Sunstone. I am so
yeah.
curious. So one is a cog, a sun with 4 beams, waves,
Mhm.
and a large tree.
Mm-hmm.
And my brain was
Mhm.
like, well, I don't think we're near like the ocean. Like, and that's the only place that maybe we are. I don't know. That face does not make me feel good. I don't know where we are. Like, I've only ever seen
Well,
land.
I guess
like,
that's fair. We are very near the ocean. It is on the north side of the mountains. So like if you were to keep going through the forest further north, you would get to the
yeah,
north
I think that's what you were
coast of
saying. Yeah,
the
you said like the
continent.
North Coast, and I was like, that's really interesting. So
Yeah,
now my
man.
brain is like, I'm either Daiya is the cog, or somebody in my family is the cog, or
Mm.
maybe it's like a literal gear that I have to like shove into a something. I don't know.
See, and
Oh.
the
Yeah.
super fun thing about rolling a low number on your perception check is I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
So I didn't write any of that down. Because
You said, I wrote all of it down.
I went, if Blossom doesn't know it, Katie doesn't know it. So in fact, what did you say right there? My brain did a fuzz. And I don't think I'll ever know
How did
until I roll.
Blossom feel about seeing the what was it called? The sunburst.
That was crazy.
Well, I think, and this is one of those, again, moments where I'm lucky that you cut the episode off where we did. Because I think
Yeah.
that Blossom was going to have to make a decision between saying something super quippy and shitty to Celine before actually going to help her, or running like a mad dog straight for the ground where the sunlight was last seen, and just getting on her hands and knees and digging in the dirt for one last scrap of its brilliance.
Whoa.
And I think those were the two
Damn.
wolves inside of her. And the episode ended. So
Those
I
are
guess
the
we'll
two
find that
wolves.
out which one wins next week. Because Katie, was like,
Yeah,
I actually
that's-
don't know which it's going to be.
I'm glad that I sort of like
Interesting.
wasn't talking, because Daiya's initial reaction was just to like dive into the crater, but you had such a rhythm that I was like, no, I want to keep listening to what he's saying, because I was like, I have to know.
What the listeners won't hear, because I will edit the large silence out. But there was like, I finished narrating a little bit and then stopped. And part of me was just like, I write large chunks down. And then I like put breaks in there. Like I'll put it all bold letters. I'll be like, stop talking, let players interact if they want to.
Ooh.
Because sometimes I'm like that, like, because I need to remind myself I'm not telling a storybook. It's not me narrating an audiobook. It's us playing together. And because you're amazing players, you give me the floor when I am expounding on something. But it also is something that I try to make myself aware of all the time. But there was kind of a silence there. And I was like, I'm going to keep going. Like, I'm going to give ample time for either of them to do something. And I was like, I don't think they're ready to make that decision yet.
No.
So I'm going to move forward. And that's okay. Like,
The thing is, I knew what Daiya wanted to do, but I think she also at the same time was so confounded by like the perception check that she did, that she was like looking at all of the things inside of the Luxodite vein, that I think it actually did make sense for her to just kind of be like stock still and then like go for it.
No, and I took Blossom's low perception check to literally, again, mean that she was so enraptured by this sunburst to not even notice the very thing they had been looking for.
Yeah.
Right in front of her eyes.
Yeah. That was the real kicker. It was just like your eyes were forward and
Yeah.
your eyes were down.
Such a cool fucking...
Interesting.
So
Such
cool.
interesting seeds of stuff that will hopefully be paid off later.
I think they will.
Yeah.
All I could think
Because it
about...
just puts us in...
No, I was just going to say all I could think about is just the phrase, Kel in the crater, because it's just like... It's like a K and a K. Not a K, but you know what I mean? The sound, K and a K. And I was like, Kel in the crater, Kel in the crater.
I love a crater. I don't know why I'm obsessed
Dude, they're so cool.
with them right now.
I
but
I just think it's so interesting in that it doesn't put us in contradictory positions, Emiko, like our characters.
Yeah.
But it was for the first time when I was like, oh, we are not completely aligned in what is most important to our characters.
Yeah.
And we are helping each other right now because what we both want lines up. But that was like a moment of being like, just the lives these two people have lived and the journeys that they are on are not necessarily the same. And I'm interested on what's going to happen when they are forced to diverge or be at odds in a larger way.
Yeah. No, I was also thinking about that too, because like what it looks like in my head is like we've been following the same path. And I think this is the first time that it's really like branched off into two separate sections, because like Daiya is so family oriented. And I was really glad that she got to have like a little bit of a moment to like mourn like the people that lived on this side and that like the families that did live on this side that like clearly were gone and or killed or something bad happened to them. So I was like, and that was something else that I was writing about before that I don't think that I really like put a lot of thought into, but it made me think again, like the reason that she is going on this quest is because a family member of hers that is important to her and to another member of her family is in danger. And so she internalized that. And then I remembered Maribel and like how she was like worried about her son And I was like, so many other people have been affected by whatever is happening, and none of it is good. That she was like, these air genazis were previously people, were taken over by something, even if no one hears me. Honestly, especially if no one hears me. It is more important to her for either them to hear it or for her to say it.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of the person that she is. And I'm honestly, I'll say it, I'm really proud of myself because I think that I'm figuring her out, and it feels really fucking good.
Oh, it's the best. It was such a joy to have, like, because D&D can, the party makeup can completely shift the scope of a D&D campaign. If your party has no clerics, no warlocks, then the scope of your campaign, no paladins, the scope of your campaign is inherently going to start small, because it's usually not about the gods or the whatever. It's about systems. It's about the people. But like when you've got a cleric and a paladin and a warlock and a wizard and a, like, when you've got all of these huge, like, you, like, because the D&D magic is so cosmic and so tied to that. Yeah, it just really changes the scope of your campaign. And so, like, I knew we had the luxury of starting more, like, yes, there's big things happening, but like starting more like grassroots. Like, you guys are meeting people who are dealing with this really big, scary thing, and there's not really a whole lot of answers about it. And that's more in line with people who are not religious or of the cloth or whatever. Like, there's no big answer. It's like, we're just fucking out here.
I don't think you have this planned, but it would be crazy if I get, maybe I should just shut the fuck up. No, I'm going to say it. I'm so glad that, like, currently there is no specific group of people that is like worshiping the dusk in like a cult-like way, because it is just like a destruction, like fog essentially, that just like wiped out centers of this civilization, that like it's really horrid. And like, God, I hope there isn't a cult. Maybe I just spoke that into existence. I really hope I didn't. Please don't let there be a cult. Hey, I'm requesting as a player.
Well, no, I mean, that's, yeah, it's such a, I mean, like, of course, that's like first instinct. When you make this type of world, you're like, it's post-apocalyptic. There's probably some fucked up something. But there's also, like, in now playing the world more, there's more interest to me in people finding power in a vacuum, right? Like, I think less so cult and more so like, you're just going to see different, like, Willa has a pretty strong hold on what's happening in this town. But, like, there are other towns elsewhere that may or may not have sunstones. And what are their structures like? What are their interpersonal structures like? Are they political in any way? Are they factioned? Are they, you know, little farming towns that are just trying to get by? Like, I think, to me, it's more interesting to, rather than being like, there's a big cult that worships the dusk and they're the big bad. Like, if there's a cult somewhere out there, it's just because they're a cult. It's not, like, I think for me, it's much more interesting to explore the different types of people in such a tragic scenario or in this apocalypse, especially in a magic society, like, world, and than it is to be like, yeah, I'm gonna make a big group of people that are just brutal and violent, and they tie people up on the end of a stick and they shove them out into the dusk to, like, experiment
For
on
sure.
it. Like, no, it's not. That's so you know, we may interact with some sort of something like that, but it's not front of my mind, and it's not, I didn't want it to be a part of this opening town. I was like, I want this place to feel like it's got some normalcy, even in the tragedy.
Maybe there's like one guy named Steven who's like, I love the dusk, but he's like the one outlier.
Because of course there would be.
People should come join me.
Yeah, or he's
Of
got
course,
like
of course there would be.
yeah, he's got like a pet dog that's been mutated by the
I was literally
dusk.
thinking
And
that. I was like, he's got a dog.
we still don't know. I mean, like, I know, but like we still don't know totally how the mutations of the dusk work because it's very different.
Can't be
Like,
all bad.
in town,
Yeah.
the dusk was able to bring these corpses back and like used them like puppets. But in this scenario with the air genasi, it was like it took dead spirits and then created a corporeal form. You know, like it had some sort of pull in that way. So like it's a many varied thing, the dusk. And
Yeah.
interesting.
Speaking of birds,
Yeah.
I was thinking earlier also about like vegetation and like wildlife in the dusk, but I think you previously said that there isn't anything in there, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, I
but
think
I was thinking
did.
like, what would like a mutated bird be like, or
Yeah, I
a
said
mouse, or like
something.
whatever.
I want to say in that fight with the Wyatts, because I mentioned that there was like a noise, and you were like, "Well, is
Yeah,
that
I think you did.
common?" No, it was when we first got into the relays last session,
Oh,
where you were like, should I be expecting to see like a deer out here? And it's like,
it's probably fucked up. It's like the fish in The Simpsons that has like 6 eyes and they all blink at different
It's like
intervals.
it's like the upside down. Like it's like you're probably not going to see shit, but if you do, it's
yeah.
probably
Well,
trouble.
and that's the fun of the dusk being around for so long, and then we can go into sunrises and sunsets. But my last thought on that is just like when something is around for so long, the things that maybe were crazy all the time, right? Like the first couple years of the dusk might have been like crazy mutated giant monsters ripping people to shreds the minute you stepped out of your door. But like eventually that has to die down. Like you just lose, there's not people to attack. There's not, and then you attack yourselves or these things die off or they go into hiding or hibernating. Like it is one of those things where it's
Yeah.
like, it does settle a bit, but who fucking knows?
Yeah, some shit might still happen. Sorry,
Yeah.
one more thing before we get into sunrises
Yeah.
and sunsets. I recently watched Sinners. So when you
Oh.
it's
Yeah.
so good. It's so good.
It's so
when
good.
you described like the pinpricks in Kel's eyes, all that I could think of were the vampires from fucking Sinners. And I was like,
Hell yeah.
I hate that. I know it might, I don't know whether or not it's good or bad right now, but that was what I thought of. And I was like, thanks, I hate it.
Yeah.
I know that Daiya can't see that, but me,
I just
Emiko,
love-
as the person playing, does.
Yeah. I'm going to transition that point into our sunrises and sunsets. One of my sunrises for
Let's
this
go.
episode was having the moment where all of the imagery clicked in my prep and writing it out. I was like, oh, I'm cooking. I was like typing away and I was like, I am so excited to throw them these images and see how it makes them feel. And that's always a really good feeling when you're doing that.
You cooked. You cooked so hard. You made a fucking feast.
Thank you. I'm trying to think what my sunset might be. Oh, I think my sunset might be Thanik and them's departure. I just didn't need them around. And I just realized, like, right after we finished the combat, I was like, I don't want to have 4 NPCs that I'm trying to navigate while you guys are navigating Kel and Celine. I was like, Kel and Celine are going to be important, and I need to be ready to be them
It's true.
and not these watchers. So I kind of just was like, if they come back at a later time, they're there and they can come back at a later time, but they've got things to go do. They're busy. Send them
Yeah,
off.
I think narratively it made a lot of sense to like kind of send them off because they were like, yeah, we have other shit. This was like a thing that we were doing for us, not
Yeah,
you just also happen to be here.
right. Yeah. So that would be my sunset, I think. But that's what I got. Yeah, Katie.
I think my sunrise was dying.
Mm.
literally, because I got to see the sunrise.
Whoa.
And also just narratively, because I think it has opened up some very cool stuff that I'm really excited about.
Absolutely.
Love a death cutscene.
And then I guess,
Me too.
yeah, I think that it has just moved her emotional journey forward more. And my sunset is just the general bummer of the fact that future Katie is going into next session with no spell slots, a 7 HP, and no wild shape.
No, that's scary.
Left. So I didn't set future Katie up for success very well, because last week past Katie burned a wild shape to turn into a cat for 5 seconds. Yeah.
But you couldn't have known.
You couldn't have known.
I couldn't. I only changed into a creature with 1 hit point while we were out in the magical death forest.
That's sort of crazy to me that cats as
I
a wild
couldn't
shape
have known.
only has 1 hit point, because
But
cats are known
I
to have
couldn't
9
known.
lives. So why?
They should have 9
They should have 9 hit points at least.
Or you should get to turn into 1 cat 9 times.
I would like that. That's what I want.
That's really fun.
But
You know
that's
what
my
you should
sunrise
do
and
if
sunset.
you wild shape as a cat? You can turn into the same cat 9 times, and each time it's a different stat block, and the cat gets a little stronger.
Eventually,
by
you're a tiger.
1 hit point every time. Oh, cool. I think it would make more sense if the first time you turn into a cat, you're like a lion.
And then it goes
And then
down.
You get a
as
little weaker?
because you have less lives.
That is fair.
So every time you burn your cat wild shape, you're a less cool cat every time.
Hey, all cats are
Oh, yeah.
cool
Until
cats.
you're like until you're like one of those little naked looking cats. Or the last
Gross.
one.
Like a little
Gross.
naked
Well,
pig.
I don't want to.
Gross.
I don't want to talk
Feelings.
about naked cats. So Emiko, sunrises and sunsets.
I think I have so many sunrises for this episode. You did such a good job.
You always have so many. You gotta pare it
I
down.
know. I think sorry, I have so many.
No,
I'll
it's
just
so
recap the
sweet.
entire
you gotta
episode.
pick one.
No,
That's for Dylan next week.
I think my one sunrise, the big one for me this week, is that Daiya got to be an artificer. And then she got to do her little like beep boop technology stuff that she
For sure.
really truly loves. And my sunset, I don't wish that I had said things while you were doing your like fun monologue at the end, because I think that it would have ruined the pacing. But I do want the listeners to know that was happening outside
Yes.
of the narration, was Daiya going, Kel! And then running and like digging at dirt and like trying to figure out how to like get the stones off of them or whatever the heck. I'm also going to do an anticipatory one because
Ooh.
I like patterns and
Love
I'm
it.
excited for the connection and the patterns in the gold.
Mm,
I think
We shall
that's going to
see.
be fun.
we shall see. Well, guys, what a lovely 4th episode of Triple Crit Tidbits for our episode
Tidbits.
4 of Triple Crit. Make sure to tune in for the next episode of Triple Crit. I've been your DM, Dellan Short, joined by...
I've been Emiko and we are in a polycule.
We are.
And I've been your Katie.
So send in your applications to join the polycule, and we'll be looking forward to those.
Make sure to put your acres in your bio also.
Also put...
And also,
gr-
tell me if you want to be on the top bunk or the bottom bunk. Kiss
yeah,
kiss.
also grower or shower is important, just personally.
Yeah.
All right, that's where we're going to end it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Tidbits, where we'll tid your bits. Gross. Sorry, no. Oh. Please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast fix from. It would really help our tiny little podcast grow. If you'd like to follow us and you haven't already, our podcast Instagram is at TripleCritPod. That's TripleCritPod. You can follow me at emilou.co. That's EMILOU.co, everywhere that matters. And follow our DM Dellan at Shellan_Dort. That's SHELLAN_DORT. Bye, Triple Cuties. See you next week.